everyone. Today we are going to talk about an action thriller film called Fall from 2022. A lot of interesting things are waiting for you. The movie begins with a demonstration of a group of climbers when suddenly Dan falls in front of Becky and Shiloh. 51 weeks later, Becky thinks about her loss every day, constantly listening to his voicemails. One day, her father, James, tries to explain to her that she needs to move on with her life, but she doesn't like it, so Becky freaks out whenever she's alone. A moment before she is killed, she is distracted by Shiloh, who urgently needs a partner to climb the TV tower where she can scatter Dan's ashes. So the duo sets out on the road. Later in the evening, they decide to grab a bite to eat, and during the conversation, Shiloh says that she will be filming an amazing video there and that she will be showered with abuse from all sides. She also tells them that the tower has been abandoned for many years and will soon be demolished. A new day comes, and Shiloh immediately starts recording a video, explaining the size of this tower, which is over 600 meters high, and they want to climb to the very top. When they arrive at the tower, the girls realize that the passage is blocked, so they have to go on their own. They have only a little water with them, as they expect to be back home by lunchtime. The climb will consist of several stages. First, you have to climb 550 meters inside a steel frame, and then 60 meters up an external staircase. Becky immediately asks not to climb, but Shiloh manages to persuade her, so the friends begin to climb the rather rotten stairs. Even the external fasteners begin to fail. Suddenly, the railing breaks off, but Becky manages to grab hold. Halfway up, the duo takes a short break at the height of the Eiffel Tower, where they can see the entire neighborhood. A little later, they overcome the first stage, but Becky begins to be afraid of heights, and Shiloh crawls on. Seeing all this, Becky decides to climb after her. At first, everything goes well enough, but satellite dishes appear on their way, but the friends slowly avoid them. For fun, Shiloh starts shaking the ladder, which causes the bolt to fly out, as well as the opposite bolt. Still, the friends climb to the very top. After a few records, Becca scatters Dan's ashes all over the neighborhood. The only thing left to do is to go back down to the ground, not even realizing that the ladder is out of order. Shiloh miraculously manages to catch on, preventing Becky from falling, and pulls her friend back to the ledge with her last strength. However, how to go down now? The signal is completely lost. Instead, they find binoculars and a flashlight and a backpack with supplies lying on the plates. Suddenly, the friends notice a wound on Becky's leg, and Shiloh immediately bandages it. Thinking that help is on the way, Shiloh, as usual, records several videos. After a while, Shiloh tries to see something through his binoculars and notices a van that seems to be abandoned. 5 hours have passed since then, and no communication has been established. But the number of likes makes it clear that the connection was only slightly lower. The idea arises to attach the phone to a rope and lower it 15 meters down, recording a message. But it doesn't work. Then Becky decides to drop the phone by sticking it in her sneakers, but they don't know if it worked. But through the binoculars, they see a man with a dog and a broken phone. Becky tries to reach him with her shoe, but he doesn't even think to look at the top of the tower. As night falls, Becky launches a rocket, and this time they are spotted, but instead of helping them, their car is simply stolen. Late at night, Becky notices a code 143 on Shiloh's leg, which is how Dan confessed his love to her. She admits that she has been seeing him for 4 months behind Becky's back. A new day comes, and the girls are still sorting things out. By this time, 24 hours have passed, and since the backup hasn't arrived, the plan with the shoe has clearly failed. Instead, they decide to get the backpack where the quadcopter is, but to do so, they need to take a risk and go down a few meters. Shiloh instantly starts descending and reaches the plates quite quickly. However, she was unable to reach it, so Shiloh takes off her clasps and jumps onto the plate where the water was stored. But now she can't climb back up. Shiloh comes up with the idea of using a selfie stick, hooking a rope and jumping over the gap. A few meters before the top, Shiloh accidentally falls, but manages to catch herself, injuring her arms, so Becca has to lift her back to the top by herself. After that, Becca writes a message on the back of a check, which they attach to the quadcopter. It is supposed to fly to the motel, but by this time the battery is almost dead, which is why the idea is doomed. There would be enough charge to bring the phone down, but the girls didn't think about it. Night falls. Becca is shocked by Shiloh's disappearance, but it was just a nightmare. Later in the morning, they come up with another idea, to climb right into the lamp to plug in the charger. However, it doesn't reach the contacts, so Becky decides to use the ring as an extension cord, and this time the charger works. It would seem that all that is left is to wait for the charge, but the vulture has its own plans to feast on Becca. Because of this, the backpack falls to the very bottom. The charge remains at 3 divisions. Now they have to wait until 10 a.m. because that's when the hotel is most crowded. At first, the friends succeed. The drone doesn't lose contact and almost reaches the hotel. Just a few meters from the target, it is hit by a truck, and the driver does not dare to approach the drone and continues to drive. It was the last hope for rescue. Later in the day, a storm begins to appear in the distance, moving directly toward them. Although Becky has almost no strength to fight, she realizes that Shiloh is no longer alive. When she fell, she didn't grab the rope. She left this world. Instead, she pulled out her backpack. Later, Becca watches a video with her father. While James tries to find Becca, a new day dawns with a vulture snack. Gaining strength, Becca decides to try to go downstairs and use her last boot, but inside Shiloh. As night falls, James rushes to the tower, where a huge crowd of rescuers has already gathered to cover Shiloh's body. James thinks it's Becca, but his fears were in vain, because Becca was rescued. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I'm happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. OLEJA Recapped was with you. See you soon.